cooler than I remember. It's fine. It's fine.
Everything's fine.
There's something about... No, it's the door. We're fine. Hi.
We're professional.
Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. I'm Ninja Bean.
And I'm Eleanor Roosevelt.
And today we're going to talk about what to do if you have a bad bout or practice, because this is important stuff that happens to all of us.
It does. Sorry, squeaky chairs.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we still haven't upgraded the chairs yet. Maybe one day. Today is not that day.
Today is not that day. So yeah, we've been in Derby for almost 5 years now. And there are definitely days when you have a bad day.
Like the song.
Had a bad day.
I don't like that song.
I love that song.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Our taste in music is like pretty...
vastly different.
There's a little overlap, but it's...
a few country singers. That's about it.
But we still love each other. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, we were talking about just like having a bad bout, having a bad practice and walking away feeling kind of shitty.
Yeah.
And that's never fun. And then a lot of times, if you let it get to you, it will...
It festers.
Yes, and then it overlaps into other practices, and then it's kind of like a downhill.
Ow. Ooh. 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 Ow.
Yeah.
And you don't want that.
Yeah. So I guess we kind of wanted to tell you what we do if we have a bad bout or a bad practice.
So be prepared. We're going to ramble.
It's going to be a long one, folks. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
So have you ever had like a really bad practice or a bad
sometimes
bout
you know, you get in your own head. There's been a couple. Now that I'm a better skater, I'm sure this year I'm going to feel it more because we've gone into the next division. We're in A division, and I suspect that there's going to be a lot of me not scoring.
Yeah.
And that's a big concern for me right now. But I have had really bad practices and stuff, and then go home and just feel kind of crappy about it. But I try really, really hard to not let that filter into the next practice, but instead be like, okay, last practice wasn't good for these reasons. How can I make those reasons better? Like, how do I fix that problem?
So there is a term in Derby called gimnasia. You ever heard of this?
No, I have not.
Where, you know, sometimes you play a jam in a bout and you just have a horrible jam. Like, it's bad. You can't hit anybody. You can't get through the wall. You suck.
Yep.
And one of the things that I was reading in a book, and it was talking about creating this gimnasia in yourself, in that you go, okay, those 2 minutes, they're gone, they're done, moving on. And just being able to like compartmentalize that short amount of time, whether it be a full jam, whether it be a full game, whether it be a full practice, being able to say, okay, you know what? I kind of suck today, moving on.
Yes. And you're allowed to suck some days.
Yeah. And you're allowed to be upset about it. Like, because if you're not upset about it, then you're not going to get any better because you don't recognize it.
Yeah, or you just don't care.
Yeah.
You need to, it's good that you're caring.
Yes.
Just don't care too much.
Yeah. Understand that nobody's getting paid to play.
No, we're not. We're doing this for free. Another thing that I've noticed is, like, especially at a bad practice or a bad bout, I've recently had a practice where I did a bad thing where I was comparing myself to another skater.
Oh,
and this is something you're not supposed to do.
We talked about this.
Yes. That's also a bad thing to do in your head, is to compare yourself to especially your fellow skaters. Like, you're supposed to be working together.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, that's stupid. Don't do that.
Yeah.
So instead I'm like, well, she's doing really well. I will just keep up with that person. Like, I'll do my best to try to keep stride, try to like
skate as fast
or faster.
Yeah.
So I used it instead of something that's holding me back. I used it to try to drive myself forward.
But you're really good at that. Like, when we do like our 27 and 5, I'll never forget last year, the one time I did 29 laps, you were counting for me. And she was like, every time I would pass somebody, she'd say, okay, now pass this person, which was the next person in front of me. And that's just, you had said to me afterwards that was something you do. You just pass one person and you're like, okay, next, I'm gonna pass the next person. And just kind of being able to talk yourself through that is like, it's phenomenal. Not a lot of people can do that, but if you can teach yourself to do that, it's a really good skill to have.
It's almost like setting micro goals
within your day.
What you're doing.
Yeah.
Have you had a bad practice you had to recover from?
I have, but pretty much the practices that I can think of that were bad practices for me was because of something else that happened during the day. So, you know, whether I was, you know, I had a bad day at work, or I had a fight with my husband, or my kids were being jerks, whatever, I would come to practice and I just wouldn't be in the right headspace. And then it was like, every time somebody said something that was counter to what I had said, or, you know, if I'm running a practice and they weren't listening, it was like I was taking a personal offense to that.
Yeah, that's never good.
And it's never good. Like, don't ever take a personal offense to that, because quite frankly, nobody's paying attention.
And there's a very good chance that no one's out to get you.
Yeah.
Like, most times they say something with no ill intent.
Yeah.
It's just like, here's a thought, and you're like, no!
Yeah.
That's not my thought.
That's not my thought, so it's wrong.
You keep it. So a good idea is just when you get to practice to be like, okay, I'm just gonna leave the day at the door.
Yeah.
And try to go in with a fresh mind.
Yeah. And when I've successfully done that, I've had a really good practice. When I've been able to just kind of let it all go, say, forget about it, and then deal with it on my way home from practice or whatever, then it's been a much better practice. But yeah, after a bad practice, it's like, okay, I just want to go home and I want to eat a bunch of food, because that's how I cope. That's why I'm the chubby kid. But I do like that for me is a coping mechanism. Is I'll you know, eat crappy food, or I'll, you know, have a couple of drinks or whatever, right? Yeah. Like, just something that is indulgent that I don't necessarily need. So it's something I've been learning about myself in the last couple of years and trying to avoid. So yeah.
But it's good that you're learning about that kind of stuff. And that's kind of what you have to figure out about yourself, is like, what happens when you have a bad practice? How do you react? You almost have to be thinking about these things and aware, conscious of your decisions, because a lot of times they're like almost unconscious, that you don't realize you're doing them. And then you're like, wait a minute.
100%.
Me? What was that?
Yeah. And again, like, not just bad practices, bad days, anything in my life, I turn to food. Always. And I think that's kind of a family thing. If I talk to my family, I could almost guarantee you that would be something that pretty much all of us do. Which is interesting. And another topic for another day.
And maybe a completely different
genre video.
But hey, it might come up. We're looking to diversify on this channel and see what we can talk about. I mindlessly pick at my thumbs.
Yeah, you do.
I don't realize I'm doing it until I'm bleeding down my arm. I'm like, oh God.
She does.
We'll
be like, what's that from? She's like, oh, well, you know, X, Y, and Z happened today at work.
But that's just like those stupid subconscious things. And, you know, certain vices that we lean towards when we have a bad day. And it's just picking up on like those things that you're doing in your mind that are like, you're sabotaging yourself at practices when you have a bad one.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, again, like, to sort of help get over having a bad day, tell somebody. I'm not feeling this practice today. I'm not feeling today. I don't know what's going on. I need to get out of my head. Maybe somebody will make you do laps. I don't know, but maybe it'll get you out of your head. It is nice when you have close friends on your team and you can create those times when people can look at you and go, what's the matter with you? Your game's off. What's going on? So it is nice to have that with a couple of close people on your team.
Yeah, our team typically has one bad practice a month because we all sunk up, and
that's what happens.
It's just nasty. There's just one where everyone's just like, Urgh. There was one that was specifically very bad. I don't know if it was near a full moon where everyone's like, what's wrong?
It was full moon, and the entire team had sunk up their menstrual cycle except for the male ref.
Yes.
That poor dude. I felt so bad for him that day.
Yeah, because like, what's wrong with you? He's like, well, I'm PMSing and I'm on my
and somebody else was like, I am too, and I am too.
And then I was like, oh, that's why this practice sucks.
So keep stock of your cycle too, because sometimes that really does play a factor.
It totally does. I'll have days where it's like I'm like chipper. It's like a big wave.
Yeah.
Because I will be sad, and then I'll be like, why was I sad half an hour ago? Because now it's like, this is great. Where's the
best day ever.
So stupid.
So that being said, if you find you are constantly having bad days, maybe you need to look at your team culture. That's a big one. It's pretty touchy subject. I'm gonna do it. There are teams whose team culture is not conducive to good mental health. Look at what your team culture is.
Yeah, if it's like a toxic environment, you don't want to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
We've only really practiced with like a couple of teams, and we consider ourselves super, super lucky because we find that we have a pretty good team culture where we, for the most part, can talk about things.
Yeah.
But I've also seen posts on Reddit where people are talking about their toxic team culture, and they're like, I don't know what to do. I can't fix it. Like, 'cause sometimes you just can't.
Yeah, because you're only one person, and you know, and the worst part is that even though roller derby is like, it's becoming really popular, it's still like there can be hours between teams where you can't travel. Like it's either this team or it's no team. And like if our team stopped, like if we couldn't play, I don't know where I'd go play.
Yeah.
Because everyone's so far away. Like the next closest team is easily 45 minutes. And then after that, it's like an hour and a half. And I don't want to do that a couple of times a week. So I can understand why people stay, even if it's a toxic environment. But at the end of the day, you gotta be careful about your mental health.
Yes, I agree.
So I don't know if that's helped anybody.
Hopefully. Well, anyway, thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
In the comments below, tell us how you get over a bad practice.
Yeah.
Like, what, do you have a ritual? Do you do something? Do you burn sage, run around the house? We don't know, but we'd like to.
Yeah, we'd love to know. Because maybe we'll use those things when we have bad practices.
Do remember, we're like beer league derby players. We're here learning too, and we're just sharing what we learn and having a good time doing it.
Yeah. So like, comment, subscribe, click that little button to get you the notifications, and we will see you next time.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.